Okay. Now, for the last 2 months or 3 months, I've been working on the foundation of an SRE simulator. So my vision is right now, SadServers, you got a VM, you got a problem and a check script, and it's only one VM. And I guess I could create like more of them with like Docker Compose or something. But the idea is that I want to create a product that is like going into a company and then you get a pager duty, you get a page, and it's like something's wrong and you have all these tabs. I know you guys have worked like SRE or something like that. As sysadmin a company, and then you got like logs, and then you got like metrics, and then you have like some documentation about how the product works, and you have maybe like GitHub for the code and your CI/CD pipeline, like many things, like more like in a real company. So that's the objective, but instead of doing like waterfall, okay, I'm gonna do that. First, I thought I'm gonna create an API that's basically a wrapper for Kubernetes. Yeah. So right now you can create SadServer scenarios. So some of them. So if you go to right now, I have enabled only 2 of them. One called KWLUG and the other one called Budapest, I think. I used to have like the first one, St. John, but because today I'm like in between systems, that's like the most popular one. I want to have it in Kubernetes today. So yeah, so it's an API, REST. You say, give me a scenario, and it creates either single pod like SadServers or multi-pod that is going to be, I'm going to do a little demo that's not published yet. So it's like world premiere of like Kubernetes playgrounds. So it's another Django application. I thought for like 5 minutes to write in Golang. But because Python is the packaging system is giving me nightmares, but it's mostly solved with UV. So, anyways, I came back to Django and I created yet another API, different library. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but this one gets containerized. So the SadServers Classic it still runs as a standalone. I still haven't in my laptop. It runs as Docker, but not in a VM. But this one, since the beginning, it's Dockerized. So the good news is that once it's in Docker, you can run anywhere. So I got some credits from Google Cloud. So I'm using Cloud Run, which basically is like giving a Docker container or more than one, and it's like a PaaS, like a platform service for a Docker image, the same as in AWS would be like Fargate or ECS, one of those. Okay, it says here to show, so I'll show. All right. So the API, I have all the different. What is this guy? I'll make this bigger. I mean, this is just to get an idea of how this looks. I'm not expecting like to understand. I mean, like get this into detail. But basically, yeah, I have these 2 servers services. I'm gonna keep this one, but right now I'm really like migrating. But yes, you get, it's pretty nice because you get like how many requests you're getting, your latency. Sometimes this goes over like 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and my service, that's the timeout it dies and that doesn't work. How many instances? So I have like minimum of always one. So it doesn't have to spin up and somebody waiting there for like, it takes like 30 seconds or something. So I have always one, but it can grow to whatever. Memory, CPU, so you have some graphs, which is nice. You have some logs. So yeah, I mean, you're not seeing this, but yeah, this should tell you what it's doing. So this is the, actually I did this in the wrong order, but this is like running that API. The API itself, let me close all these. Let me make that bigger. I'll close all those things. So I'm using a Django library called Ninja. Funny enough, for SadServers Classic, I use another one called REST, which also doesn't give you automatically the Swagger. So Swagger is kind of a standard, I guess. that yeah, it builds this for you, like a UI for your API. So we said before that, you guys can see that, but that this was an API for sessions. I need to do something more. Not this one. This is a wrapper for Kubernetes, right? So, no, that may not be. Yeah, so it has some calls for the system, like it's the Kubernetes app and stuff like that. So making sure I have like the right credentials and all that. But basically, the API is pretty simple. It's like give me a session. So it's like create, like post, and it will create either a pod or from a Helm chart. Then it has like sessions use and total. That's and claim one. That's an algorithm that I have to have always like some of them always running, and it kind of so that you don't have to wait. So it's like instant, and I'll show you in a bit. Actually, I can show you now. So let's create a session. So try it out. So basically, I pass the session ID. Execute. So if we were to see the logs here, we'd see that it should be like create whatever. Like do we have it now? So it's doing some stuff there. This guy comes back with has been created, and it gives me a URL. So if I copy that URL, so this is like bypassing the, okay. This is bypassing, like the client is the, I'm not able to copy this because, okay, let me. All right. Okay, so if that URL, if I go to browser, so this is the same scenario that we saw, but with a different, it runs in a Docker container. So as you can see, there's like nothing running. Remember in the other one, we have like a whole, I'm using Debian as my favorite OS. So this is like also using Debian, but because it's a Docker container, it just basically, root process one is like socket itself, or no, it's like the Python, it's the application itself. Yeah, so it's all API, you can go and create and compile it. Let's go to the, this one. So this guy create a session with session ID, this guy. Actually can show.
Sorry about that.
Learn new and exciting things about this room.
Take a look up.
Yeah.
There's a pipe for a second.
Okay, so the idea is that, I have another slide for that, let me go back a bit, back and forth. So this is the dashboard for the Kubernetes cluster. So we create here, I'm gonna close this one, I get confused. So we create here a session, this guy. So that's gonna be here somewhere. Yeah. So the API, what it does, it creates three things. So I don't know how familiar you folks are with Kubernetes, but basically it creates a pod, which is a Docker container or more. So it creates that container that's running over there. It creates that. Then you need to access it. So it creates a service, which is basically like, let's say like a paytables rule that goes to the pod. And then you also need something to go from the outside, and that's in Kubernetes is an ingress. So it creates an ingress path, or ingress rule. So let me see if I'm forgetting anything there. Demo, show that. Yeah. So I did it from the API directly. So this is not public. I mean, it's public because you can go to the URL, but you don't have the password. Eventually I'll block it somehow. I don't like to have anything just with the password. The other way, since we're here, I'm gonna demo. Hopefully works. What screen is that on? We've done that one. We've done that one. We are here. Yeah. The bigger. So this is my development server. So I showed before in this one the terminal for the same problem that we had, and now let's do like a whole Kubernetes thing. So hopefully this works. So let's do the free one. The difference with SadServers Classic, it has a background job, and then when it's ready, it tells the front end, the user is ready. Here I'm doing everything like request response, which is not ideal, so I have like those 8 seconds without stupid bar. And yeah, I may change that. So, but the good news is like there's no state, there's no database in the API, there's no background jobs or anything. So that's neat. So this, we go to here, we should see how it's being created. So I'm using something called vCluster. vCluster is a way to sandbox Kubernetes clusters. And go back and forth. If we open this, so it takes about 40 seconds to bring up a new whole. This is like a new whole Kubernetes inside Kubernetes. But like I said, I'm just using vCluster for this. So hopefully I have a counter there. All right, so it's ready. So this is go. So there's nothing there. I have an Nginx manifest. So I'm gonna apply it. And then it will fail because it calls a repository that I just killed and haven't moved, but that's fine. Now we can do get all again. And it's like error image pool, so you can find the image. So it's like a scenario now. I also have some tooling there. You have KNS, which is process, how do you say that? Like a graphical interface for Kubernetes, so you can see what's wrong. Okay, it tells you the error, that kind of stuff. So this is the Control C. So this is when I say like the API what creates, so it creates like the pods that are active right now as servers, and this is like the new worldwide presentation of playgrounds. And my challenge here, I can go and kill it, and then this guy in a moment will say, what else?
So what's the playground for? Does it give you a challenge like this is sad and you have
very good question. So there are like some playgrounds I have in mind. Like I already have one in the SadServers that is like the manifest, like things done. The manifest that they don't point to each other correctly. The purpose is that people do like playgrounds, and once I have that, so the idea is that I'm gonna have a bunch of those. So right now I only have like these 3, which is the same one with Nginx. Then I have more with tools. That's one part, and the other part I will have problems as well. I'll have challenges like this Nginx will the manifest there, the Helm chart with more complicated. I'm moving towards the goal of having like a whole application, database, a front end, whatever, and then having something broken. So this is like the first step. I'm doing things like step by step. So having a Helm chart like running without still thinking about problem, but then there will be problems, absolutely. All right, what else? I think I'm a bit behind now. Yeah, so we saw this with the demo.
So just to clarify, is this kind of supposed to replace the SadServers Classic, or it's
It's mostly no. It's like augmenting it from going from one VM to a Kubernetes cluster, going from a problem in Linux VM, like find what we did before, to like we have a complex application and find the problem, going towards the goal of having these SRE simulators that I want to have. Because yeah, $5 a month is I can retire in Mexico with that. So anyway, so we saw. Yeah, so right now the architecture is, the cool thing is that there's no state, no background jobs, and the UI is kind of like decent enough. I mean, it has some challenges with like people trying to, I'll talk about this in a minute, but yeah, that more or less I solved. Oh yeah, this already talked about, but just to reiterate, what create session does. A session is like an instance of a scenario. It's a pod, a service, and an ingress route. And deleting deletes on that. Show Kubernetes dashboard already did. I think almost done.